Palm oil is a type of vegetable oil obtained from the fruit of the oil palm tree. It originated in West Africa, but spread once discovered it can be grown in other countries with the ideal climate. Today around 17 countries produce and export palm oil, including Indonesia and Malaysia. Around 50 million tonnes of palm oil is produced annually, with almost all of that being non-sustainable palm oil. The rainforests are drained and cleared to make way for palm oil plantations, causing massive deforestation. Hidden under over 40 different names, this substance is present in most of the products you purchase in supermarkets, from biscuits, oven chips, margarine and pet food, to the cosmetics you use every day. The palm oil fruit has become one of the greatest threats to the habitats of endangered species such as orangutans, tigers, rhinos, elephants and hundreds more. I visited Paignton Zoo to talk to Tony Stokes about why there is such a high demand for palm oil and how they fight against the use of it in products.
The international demand is down to the fact that it's a wonder plant, and the yield for palm oil far exceeds any other forms such as rapeseed, soy or sunflower oil. And so in terms of the yield for commerce, it's a wonder plant. It's a very good source of oil, but it's not so good for the environment. The reason for concern is the fact of the loss of habitat, and that's the main issue, that palm oil is responsible for deforestation at an alarming rate. In the rainforests of Southeast Asia, Borneo and Sumatra, allegedly an area 30 square miles disappears every day for the planting of palms. We're advised that the companies tend to target the rainforest because they can sell the hardwood to finance the development of the palm oil plantations until they bear fruit in 3 years' time. And in fact, in 2009 alone, an area in Borneo and Sumatra of prime rainforest disappeared for the planting of palms, and that area was the size of Belgium. And that is the big concern. And of course, those rainforests are home to a number of endangered species, and a number of not just plants, not just animals, but plants and fish and other species. So the biodiversity, in other words, is just disappearing at an alarming rate. I am led to believe that there are areas where there is sustainable production of palm oil. The problem for us is that we seem unable to access product made from that due to the supply chain, and it would appear that palm oil, if you like, the source of the palm oil gets lost in the supply chain. And as of yet, there is nobody coming forward with single estate, you might call it, palm oil from a particular individual source.
Orangutans are one of our closest living relatives, sharing 98% of our DNA and are extremely endangered, with less than 60,000 living in the wild today. Wild orangutans can only be found in Borneo and Sumatra, the rest in captivity. Their habitat is being destroyed due to the production of palm oil. My next step was to go talk to the keepers at Paignton Zoo, where we discussed the individual personalities of the 4 Bornean orangutans they care for.
We have 4 orangs here, 1 male, 3 females. Our male is called Demo. He came to us from Paignton Zoo. He came to us on our breeding loan. All our orangs here are part of a breeding programme for Europe, the EEP programme. It's basically designed that we can hopefully breed orangs to a very sustainable population in captivity, and then maybe one day release them back into the wild. That's every zoo's ultimate goal. Our females, we've got Chinta. She was born at London Zoo. We came to us 15 years ago. Then we've also got Marley, who was also from Munster Zoo. And then we've got Gambira, who was born here. She's the only orang we've ever had born here. Sadly, we haven't bred since her. She was born in '97. She's 15. We're hoping to breed our orangs to try and get the population up. Males are solitary, basically. The only time you ever see orangs together is if it's breeding time, or if there's a mother and child, or if there's a fruiting tree. And we try and replicate that in captivity. The male only kind of hangs around with the females whenever they're in season. We've got Chinta. Chinta's a great thinker. She works out every problem. If you leave something near the enclosure, she will work out how to get it. She's very, very clever. We've got Gambira, who is just obsessed with food. She likes her food, don't we all? And then you've got Marley, who's really, really smart. Marley's the dominant female, and she knows how to play the male very, very well. She's very smart cookie.
But what can we do to prevent the use of palm oil in our products? I took a trip home to talk to my mum, a keen activist against palm oil. We discussed how she works towards helping save the rainforest and the orangutans. Her focus is mainly on Tripper rainforest, part of the Rouxel ecosystem in the province offices of Aceh, northern Sumatra. One of the last places on Earth where populations of 5 iconic species can be found living within the same area. A battle is being fought right now to save the forest and its inhabitants in it. It is considered to be one of the biggest environmental disasters of our time.
Most of my campaigning is done online, signing petitions, writing to manufacturers, sharing information with other people to raise awareness. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. It was first brought to my attention by a newspaper article, which I found quite devastating, and had absolutely no idea that the destruction was this much, and that's when I decided to get involved. I try to raise as much money as I can to help support orphaned orangutans in Borneo and Sumatra. I usually do that by selling second-hand books, which has become quite successful. So this year we are hoping to raise more money. We also collect things like stamps that we can send to organisations, and that helps them raise money. And I personally donate to a couple of organisations on a monthly basis. The main one is International Animal Rescue, which is based in the UK, but they do help out several species in Indonesia. Most people don't even know what palm oil is or where it comes from. They don't even know where orangutans come from. It's not just orangutans that it's affecting, it's a lot of other iconic wildlife that live in a whole ecosystem in Sumatra and Borneo. We need to keep these forests, because when all these iconic species have gone, we're going to be next.
Borneo and Sumatra, as you say, are two of the most biodiverse regions in the world. 80% of UK's palm oil comes from those regions, and this deforestation is not subsistence farmers, it is major international companies for international markets, and also a knock-on effect which people perhaps don't realise, that up to 25% of global CO2 emissions, I'll repeat that, up to 25% of global CO2 emissions apparently are down to deforestation. Well, with regard to environmental impact for humans, I'm a commercial person, I'm not a scientist, but as far as I'm aware, the rainforests are the lungs of the earth, and in particular the rainforests in Indonesia are home to a huge list of species that will be lost forever, and in current estimates 98% of Indonesia's rainforests will be lost by the year 2022. And I think that speaks for itself. When you consider they are the lungs of the earth, that speaks for itself as what the impact is likely to be on the human population. That in 2005, according to Friends of the Earth, palm oil was included in 10% of the products on the supermarket shelf, but by 2009, according to the Sunday Independent, it had reached the percentage of 43% of products on the supermarket shelf contain palm oil. For us, that the issue isn't reducing the quantities, it's more getting palm oil from a credible source. And that's the issue. And until we are in that position, as I said in previously, where there is a certification that we're comfortable with and meets the needs of biodiversity as well as the producers, then from that up until then we will attempt to boycott. But it's not that the fact of nutritional value of palm oil, it's the fact of the needs of biodiversity versus the big international companies.
But it shouldn't be left up to activists and organisations to bring an end to the use of palm oil. You as a consumer can join in the efforts by visiting the websites of these organisations. You can demand that companies label their use of palm oil and urge supermarkets and other manufacturers to stop using palm oil and switch to responsible sources.